And a welcome into On the Mark when on the mic here on the Recliner Media Network as we are back with you on this Sunday evening. Sorry we missed last week, but we are back with you. A lot has happened since we last convened. Mark, we are almost set for the Final Four in both the men's and women's tournament. We just had a lot of March Madness go down today, as we'll get into that. Also, the WNBA finally got their shit together, so they'll be starting on time. We also have baseball opening week still going down right now, opening weekend, opening week, as we have that going on. We have just a lot to get into here as we begin the program, obviously starting with what are you watching? I think it's safe to say, just these last few weeks in March is always consumed by this thing they call the tournament, Mark, and it's been an awesome tournament so far, both men's and women's. We'll dive into the men's first. My bracket is absolutely effed now, so I will not be probably giving myself a prize for first, second, or maybe even third place at this point. My Final Four is completely out of it, except for one team who I do have winning it all. So hopefully they can go the distance. I tried to pull some punches, and as you saw just moments ago, Duke, number one, the mighty Duke Blue Devils go down to UConn. So actually, UConn men's and women's still alive and both now in the Final Four. But that was a crazy ending for the Duke Blue Devils, obviously on the men's side. The women's Blue Devils went down today at the hands of UCLA. So I think there's only two teams left with both men's and women's, and that would be UConn and Michigan still fighting in both the men's and women's side. But on this men's side, yeah, that game was crazy today as UConn wins it on a last second shot, Mark.
Yeah, those buzzer beaters, man. Heartbreakers coming in. It's good because I had UConn advancing, so I took a chance and it ended up in my favor.
Yeah, I took a chance on Purdue yesterday, and they literally led the entire game, and then Arizona stormed back to take that one. Obviously, I mean, maybe not obviously, but I think a lot of people also had Florida perhaps getting at least to the Elite Eight, Final Four. But instead, we have Illinois coming out of that South region as they took out Iowa. Iowa, maybe the I don't know. I don't even want to call them a Cinderella, but they were closest thing to a Cinderella in this year's tournament. Mark, a number 9 seed. No one saw them getting past Florida. And speaking of buzzer beaters, they do get past Florida on a last second shot. And then they run into the Fighting Illini, who seem to be on a mission from the Big Ten as well. We saw a couple good Big Ten matchups in that South region, Mark. We saw obviously Iowa, they took down Nebraska, and then we saw Iowa and Illinois. It's always fun to watch Big Ten teams. Are you surprised that Illinois is the last man standing out of that South region that featured a team like Houston, who went to the national championship? Like a team like perhaps Vanderbilt. There's a lot of good teams in that, but especially Florida.
Yeah, no, I am. Illinois definitely surprised the hell out of me on that. I honestly didn't think they'd get past Houston, let alone getting past Iowa. Florida losing really killed me as well. So yeah, a couple of shockers there. I was I guess you could say delightfully surprised. Not that I'm a big Arizona fan, but it's okay to root for the home team every now and again. And I thought Arizona would have choked by now, as they usually do, and they're looking good, beating Purdue, as you just said a couple minutes ago. And yeah, kind of cool tournament this year. UConn, Arizona, and Michigan I picked in my Final Four, so my Final Four, not terrible. I got 3 or 4 out of them.
Yeah, that's always good to see. I was undefeated in that Upper East region until just a few moments ago when Duke lost to UConn. We just saw Rick Pitino just sign a new deal to stay with St. John's. They came out of that East region. They had lost to Duke a couple of days ago in the Sweet 16, and then in that Midwest. I don't know. Maybe a lot of people saw Tennessee make it to the Elite Eight mark, but Michigan takes care of them. So Michigan's in the Final Four. By the way, the Final Four is set, if you're wondering, for the men's, as that'll resume next weekend. So it is UConn, Arizona, Michigan, and Illinois. Only, Mark, only 2 1 seeds in this Final Four. Again, maybe not what a lot of people expected. A lot of people probably expected maybe 2 Houston, 1 Florida. For sure, a lot of people in our group anyway had Duke winning it all as well. So, couple Big Ten teams also in the Final Four, as well as Illinois and Michigan. This is the first year, at least on the women's side, the most Big Ten teams in the tournament with 10. So that was a heavy fought conference all year in both the men's and women's. Again, maybe not a lot of people had Tennessee go as far as they did, but their run came to an end as well. Same with Purdue, as Arizona escapes that one. But it's good that you have 3 out of 4. I am at I'm at a 33% right now. Maybe not even that. Less than that. So my Final Four is a Final 1. I only got 1 team. I need to escape this.
Yeah, I was proud of myself. I got lucky on a few of my picks, but yeah, like I said earlier, man, Florida and Iowa really messed up my bracket as far as getting a perfect Final Four. But hey, 3 or 4, I'm not mad at it.
Heck yeah! On the women's side, we have 2 out of the 4 teams in to the Final Four going down in Phoenix next week. You should hit up one of those games, Mark. And we saw UConn. Yeah, we saw UConn escape Notre Dame today. Again, Notre Dame, not really a Cinderella, but the highest seed left. We'll get into Virginia here in a minute, but Notre Dame gave all UConn they could handle in that first half, and then UConn was like, "Nah, screw this," and just put the pedal to the floor and ended up with a 18-point victory over Notre Dame. But I gotta say, Hannah Hidalgo is her just an absolute treasure to watch, if you will, for the Fighting Irish. Only a junior, so she'll be back next year. And I was thinking about it, Mark. I mean, last year, Notre Dame had the likes of Hannah Hidalgo as a sophomore. She wasn't as dominant maybe as she obviously is this year, but maybe she didn't need to be last year, because she literally had with her last year Olivia Miles, who transferred to TCU to play her 5th and final season. So Olivia Miles goes to TCU, and then Sonia Citrone goes to the WNBA. How they didn't get as far as they did this year with that group last year just shows you, I guess, that you don't really need the big names to compete and go far, and maybe less selfishness, if you will. So UConn escapes that region. In your top left bracket, UCLA got it done today too, as we mentioned a little bit ago. They took care of the Duke Lady Blue Devils, and again, Duke gave all UCLA they could handle in that first half. And again, these number 1 seeds, Mark, are like, nah, screw this. Lauren Betts came alive in that second half. She finished the game with 20 plus points, 10 rebounds, 5 blocks in that game, by the way. And Duke just could not contain her in that second half. Toby Fournier had a terrific Sweet 16 game against LSU, and that was so awesome. I picked LSU, Mark, but it was so cool to see Duke take down the mighty Tigers, if you will. And
I picked LSU too.
Yeah, but I was happy to see Duke, at least the Lady Blue Devils, move on, because they're a fun team to watch. They're well coached. Carol Lawson does a good job over there. So they're fun to watch. And it's funny, you don't really get to watch a lot of these teams during the year, Mark. And then you have your favorites. You know about the UConns. You know about maybe the South Carolinas, you know, the LSUs, you kind of know the UCLAs. And then when this tournament comes on, Mark, you know, you're watching these games on all these different channels, and then you got new favorites. You know, you got new players that you like, new coaches, new teams, whatever the case may be. I hadn't really even got a chance, even last year, to watch, you know, like a Hannah Hidalgo for Notre Dame, even with the group that she played with last year. And yeah, I mean, in the Sweet 16, Mark, I mean, she had a triple double. You talk about 30 points, 10 rebounds as probably one of the smallest kids on the floor, and 10 steals in the Sweet 16 to complete her triple double. And she was 2 assists shy from a quadruple double, by the way.
Oof.
So yeah, that was cool to see. But UCLA once again takes down Duke. So UCLA, UConn in the Final Four. We will wait the last two tomorrow as South Carolina takes on TCU, and Texas will take on Michigan. As we mentioned, Michigan and UConn still have the men's and women's teams in it. So my Final Four is safe right now, as UConn and UCLA have made it. And then I need South Carolina, and I took a chance with Michigan. I mean, they're super. I mean, they call them the super sophomores for Michigan. They are so fun to watch. Olivia Olson, Silas Swords. They are just. I mean, they're the dynamic duo that makes up that Wolverine squad. One of the youngest teams in the country. I did not know this. I said no one can compete with UCLA's height. I did not know that TCU is on average the tallest team in the country. I mean,
Wow.
you talk. We always talk about Lauren Betts being 6'7". No
Right.
one can cover that. I mean, Carla Silva of TCU is also 6'7". I don't think she's still a little bit raw. She's still a little bit. I don't want to say uncoordinated, Mark, but you can see she doesn't move as well as a Lauren Betts does. But she gobbles up rebounds. I mean, you get it to her in the post on a pick and roll. You're not going to get in front of her and stop her. But I did not know TCU was the on average tallest school in the country. UCLA, by the way, almost 700 games played by these seniors on UCLA, so they have a very veteran team. So, yeah, the women's side of the tournament has been exciting as well.
Yeah, no, I agree, and I especially agree with that statement you made earlier about you've already got your favorites. But that's one of my favorite thing about this tournament is the amount of games you get to watch and you get to learn, new faces, new names that you might not have paid attention, or names that you knew you just didn't quite pay attention to, in the regular season before the tournament, and you end up like you pick your bracket, but you're like, oh, you know what? I really want this team to win now. You've been watching them, and I think that's my favorite thing about this tournament. Yeah, my Final Four, I took a chance on Iowa making it to the Final Four. And right now I have a chance at 3 or 4 again, as I got UCLA and UConn in there. If Michigan wins, that'll be my third correct pick for the Final Four. So I still got UConn winning it all. I'm not changing my mind.
Well, yeah, you can't really change it anyway. But I do have UCLA defeating UConn in the championship. Although the way I mean, these number one seeds in the Sweet 16, by the way, the number one seeds all won by an average of 22 or more points. All the number one seeds did. LSU was cruising until they just ran into a Duke team. And I was thinking about it. Your Malaysia Fuwiley, by the way, who was on South Carolina, didn't she was coming off the bench. She thought she could transfer to LSU and get, be a starter and stuff like that. She was still coming off the bench. So if you're like a Malaysia Fuwiley, you transfer to LSU, which, don't get me wrong, a good program. Obviously, Kim Mulkey's a fantastic coach, and you think you're gonna, whatever you think, you by transferring from South Carolina, you stay within the conference and the SEC, Mark, and then you see South Carolina just steamrolling dudes. They took care of Oklahoma yesterday. I mean, they absolutely destroyed USC, which I was kind of sad about. But I mean, I do have South Carolina in the Final Four. But again, it's just one of those things where you're like, man, I picked South Carolina, but dang, I really like this Oklahoma team. Like, I wouldn't mind if they made it past. Brackets be damned if you will. I really want to see this team move forward, even though maybe money's involved in picking these brackets. But again, that's like you said, that's the cool part about it. You just learn so much about all these different teams, and we haven't even talked about Virginia yet. The last Cinderella, I mean, they were the definition of a Cinderella for how far they got, made it all the way to the Sweet 16 as the number 10 seed. They did knock out Iowa in Iowa, which is, I mean, everyone was giving Virginia credit for that because it's one of the toughest plays, hardest place, loudest places to play in all of, college basketball. And so Virginia, I mean, they, again, like a lot of these lower seeds did, gave these higher seeds all they could in the first half, and then it just seems like they just lost steam. And I was like, I had Iowa making it to the Elite Eight and eventually losing to South Carolina, but I was like, man, it would just, because I was already out of that region, Mark, except for South Carolina. I'm like, man, that'd be cool to see Virginia go as far as they could.
Right.
Again, I'm maybe speaking for myself. I didn't know much about Kamora Johnson until that Iowa game, and I mean, she literally, and they were a play four game. They were the first four teams, so they literally played one more game than everybody else. Kamora Johnson, who played fantastic in all of these games, and literally in those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games they played, maybe 4 games they played, she played all but 3 minutes in all of those games, Mark.
Wow. Yeah,
And that's
I
just
had
the
no
cool part
idea
about
either.
it.
She showed out in that Iowa game though. Wow.
Yeah, and then she showed out. Yeah, she also showed out. She had a good game against TCU. Just TCU was, again, their size, which I didn't know about until I was watching the TCU Washington State game. That they were just the tallest team in the country, which again didn't know about. But there you go. So 2 of the 4 teams in for the women's side of things, so that's looking good. Texas, I think we both have Michigan beating Texas. Texas is going to be a tough out. Obviously, all the number 1 seeds still in play on the women's side. Madison Booker dropped 43 a couple games ago. She didn't need to score as much in this game. Just their group is made up of some veteran seniors as well. I think they got 3 seniors in their starting 5. It's cool to see too. There's a senior that they have, Mark, who doesn't get minutes. I mean, and if you watch replays and stuff, her name is Sarah Graves. Her sister actually plays for Louisville, and it was cool because Texas and Louisville played back-to-back games the other day. So their parents were in the stands, and they kind of did what they had the split shirt for both sisters and stuff like that. Obviously, Louisville didn't make it as far as Texas, but they threw Sarah Graves out there, in kind of trash minutes. I don't know if that's disrespectful or not for a senior. Goes out, makes a jumper from the side, and she does the old Michael Jordan shrug because she doesn't get hardly any minutes. She was a walk-on way back when, and then she scores in her first minutes of the tournament, and then they put her out yesterday to shoot some free throws, so she gets her first points of the Sweet 16. So stuff like that's also cool to see.
Yeah, I love when they take care of the seniors in those kind of ways, and it's kind of a special moment. Giving them those kind of looks, like you said. I don't know if it's quite disrespectful in the other form of giving them trash minutes, but hey, being able to say you hit the floor and you were able to play in those areas at that level, I think that's something that they'll take home and always remember and always cherish.
Yeah, and I always like seeing too, giving the seniors their moments. I think we talked about before, especially when the Olympics just went down, the handshake line for hockey. I was like, maybe we don't see that in other sports, but we actually do get to see it in this tournament. They do the handshake line. It's always cool to see the opposing coach, give credit to. We saw it today. Yesterday, Gino Ariemo was talking about Hannah Hidalgo and just the awesome game that she played the day before, and he was like, "I'm dreading this matchup." And then to see them hug in the handshake line was cool to see. Quote unquote star players, just give each other a little more kudos after these games are over. And what I really like doing, Mark, I go to YouTube after and watch the press conferences and just the sportsmanship that a lot of these people have. It's always cool to see coaches say, before I talk about my team, I want to give credit to Virginia. Like they had an awesome run. Again, who nobody said this, but like who's heard of Kamora Johnson outside of Virginia, until this tournament? So you get to know these names and stuff like that. So the sportsmanship after is really cool as well.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite things. And I don't. I guess one of my favorite looks is damn well, no matter how good you're trying to be, it stings shaking the hand when you lose, and being able to watch them still hold their heads up and go through that line and give the congratulations and do. I think that's one of my favorite things in sports, because there's only one thing tougher than losing, and that's telling the other team good luck. You know what I mean? Good job, good luck, whatever it may be. And yeah, I do the same thing. I love watching those interviews, those post game interviews, with just nothing but raw emotion. Um, it's fresh. It's still, maybe in some cases it still hasn't quite dawned on them, how far they've gotten in this tournament. So and then watching them speak on it. Yeah, one of my favorite things about sports.
Yeah, and then and it's almost, you watch, like, for example, Oklahoma's not coming back against South Carolina yesterday, and again, you're down by 20. Everybody kind of knows it's over. 2 minutes left, and then you do give the seniors credit. You call timeout, you get the seniors out of there, give them one more chance for a standing ovation, and it's almost heartbreaking to see that too, because they know, everybody kind of in the arena knows that this is the last time they're taking the floor. So to give them that respect as well. Yeah, sometimes it's heartbreaking to watch those press conferences of the losing team, Mark, because the seniors are just heartbroken. The coaches are heartbroken for them. Yeah, so it's almost heartbreaking in a sense too, but it's just so cool to see the sportsmanship and stuff like that. Also, speaking of Oklahoma, shout out to Reagan Beers, the senior, another Colorado girl to be playing in this tournament. Went to Valor Christian, the same high school as Christian McCaffrey, by the way. So there's a little tie in there, but yeah. And again, obviously, shout out to the Bet sisters of UCLA. Just ordered my Lauren Betts jersey, by the way. So hopefully they make it, represent Colorado as well.
Yeah, I'm excited to watch them play. That's going to be one heck of an ending, and it's teams like that make the ending of the tournament, what it is, the excitement and the drama and the hype. So I'm excited to see how this unfolds.
Yeah. So once again, the women's bracket almost done. We'll be finishing up tomorrow between South Carolina, TCU, and Texas and Michigan to see who makes it into the Final Four. The Final Four is set for the men's side of things. That is, it'll be UConn, who just maybe stunned Duke not too long ago. Today, maybe a half hour ago now, as UConn hit a buzzer beater shot, turned over by one of the Bullseye twins, by the way, too. So that would have been it's kind of gut wrenching for them. You turn the ball over and then you see a miracle shot go in. That's almost the worst way to go out. I know they have I don't know what their time frame is in college and stuff like that, which is one of the many ways why I like women's college basketball better, Mark, just because you get to know these teams, because they might not stay at the same school for all 4 years, but they stay in school for all 4 years, and you get to know them, you get to know the teams and stuff like that. I don't know how long the Bullseyes have left in college. I don't know if they're going to be one and done or go to the NBA, whatever they're doing. I don't know. Maybe I missed that announcement already, but it's got to be heart-wrenching and gut-wrenching to turn over the ball, Mark, as the number one seed, seconds left, and then watch the ball go in from 30 feet.
Yeah, and that's one of those things. It's like, did you really honestly lose the game? What do you do on that? Like, you're walking off the floor, like, I would feel we didn't even lose that game. I mean, that shot just felt like, what do you do? It is what it is at that point. And like you said, I think that's the most horrific way to end a tournament, or possibly your college career,
Yeah. So again, shout out to UConn, men's and women's, for getting through to the Final Four. We mentioned Arizona, Illinois, and Michigan. Again, shout out Michigan for men's and women's. Women still have a game to play to see who gets into the Final Four, but those teams still playing for bragging rights. But yeah, it's been fun March Madness, even though my men's bracket is screwed now. But still fun to watch, and I'm excited about the women's games tomorrow. So we will see what happens. What else is on your watching list there, Mark?
Yeah, so UFC Fight Night last night, Israel Adesanya on that card, the main card or the main event against Joe Pyfer. Two fights I want to talk about: Alexa Grasso fighting Macy Barber. Let me tell you, those women put it all out there, and Alexa Grasso had one hell of a hook, knocked her out. Macy Barber was out cold, and then ended up falling down, and there was no way she was going to be able to return from that. But Alexa Grasso always one hell of a warrior. So shout out to her. And then going on to the Izzy fight, Izzy and Joe Pyfer. Joe Pyfer's up and coming, 16-3. Obviously Adesanya with his outstanding record and reputation of what he's done in the UFC. I just had a feeling all week. I was telling everybody, Joe Pyfer's gonna get him, and sure as hell did. Knocked him out, knocked out Izzy in the second round. Just bullied him that whole round, and then finally got on top of him and just wouldn't quit. Herb had to make the bad man stop and pull him off. Wasn't gonna happen. Izzy was not coming back from that, and I wouldn't be surprised if Izzy hangs it up soon. But yeah. Great fight night. Love to see it. Love that card. A lot of great fights, and congrats to Joe Pyfer.
Yeah, I've given up, by the way, on betting on UFC fights. Just I don't get it. I won't understand it. And so hit a big parlay last week, Mark. Haven't won since, so
you don't need to after that parlay though. That was fantastic. That was a fantastic win.
Yeah, the first day. Well, it was the second day of the men's tournament. First day of the women's. So yeah, it was a big one. So I'm happy I'm up in lifetime, I guess. So yeah, it's still hard to look at those numbers though. If you go into the bowels of those apps and you look at your stats, still tough to look at. So I tend to stay away from those settings.
It's a humbling feeling you get after that.
Yeah, but I still ignore it.
Same. And I always will.
Yep. Opening day in Major League Baseball has gone down as well, and didn't even need to look at the standings to know that the Rockies are already 0-3, Mark. I think they're already eliminated from playoff contention, so don't have to worry about them. Don't have to worry about them. And yeah, I mean, there's 3 teams already in the NL West that are 0-3, Mark. The Diamondbacks, Rockies, and Giants. Giants got swept by the Yankees in the opening series. Dodgers swept the Diamondbacks in the opening series, and your San Diego Fathers are 1-2 to start the year. Who would have had on their bingo card the Miami Marlins 3-0 to start the year, unless you looked at who they were playing? I saw somewhere that they were like, Miami should get rid of their team. They I don't even know if they could outsell seats in a high school game, Mark. And they were just given like a new stadium, like what 3 years ago, whenever that was. They were playing in a humongous stadium years ago, and they're like, dude, like they literally had to put tarp over like every section, and then they moved them into this Lone Depot, whatever this is, and they literally can't even sell anything down there. And so yeah, I mean their attendance is lackluster, if you will. The Mets and Nationals and Braves are all 2-1. Philadelphia starts out 1-2. The other undefeated team so far, Mark, is the Milwaukee Brewers, who start out 3-0. But guess who they were playing? The absolutely disastrous Chicago White Sox. St. Louis is 2-1. Cincinnati 2-1. Cubs and Pittsburgh 1-2 to start the year. 2 other undefeated teams, kind of mentioned the Yankees 3-0, Toronto 3-0, Baltimore 2-1, Tampa and Boston start the season at 1-2. Cleveland, Detroit 2-1, Texas 2-1, and also the Angels and Houston 2-2. How about this stat for Cal Raleigh, the big dumpster, or whatever his name is, the big dumper? How about this? 0 for 15 with 12 strikeouts in the World Baseball Classic. Starting this season, Mark, 0 for 7 with 7 strikeouts.
Yeah, he's got to figure it out. He had a tough go in the WBC, and it seems to have spilled into the season. He's got to, that's one of those things though. Like you say the numbers, it sounds daunting, but stay mentally strong. I think he'll be all right.
Yeah, and yeah, once you get that first hit, you're like, okay, it's just like almost like a basketball shooter. You're having a tough shooting night, and once you see that first one go in, you're like, all right, now I
The monkey off the
found my
back.
spot. Now I kind of found my rhythm. So, yeah. Speaking of that, Jamal Murray screwed me in another bet a couple nights ago as well. I told you about the one nugget bet I placed. Stupid Christian Brown screwed me out of $1,200. But then literally another Nuggets game. All I needed, Mark, all I needed was 23 points from Jamal Murray. He finished the game with 22. And then what does he do? The very next game on a back-to-back goes off for 53.
That sounds
So
about right. Oof.
yeah, that is that's life of a
Gut-wrenching.
gambler, I guess.
Yeah, that's a punch to the stomach. That sucks.
But again,
A bad loss.
you get humbled and you it's like an athlete. We're like athletes, Mark. You just move on. You move on to
Gotta
the next.
stay mentally strong. Get back on the horse. Keep
Yeah,
going.
I hit 40 home runs last week like the big dumpster, and then struck out a few times, and now you got to step back in the hitter's box.
That's it. You just got when they figure you out, you got to switch up your tweak it a little bit. You'll be all right.
There you go. I almost thought about switching. What are they? Sports books too. So that's kind of funny. But what else is on your radar?
Hockey season, getting heated up. My Red Wings are doing their best to cash in the season as they went from flirting with first and second place to dropping all the way out of the playoff race. So some work to do, but yeah, I'm just gonna once again stay mentally strong. Got to get back in there and hope for the best. But yeah, hockey's looking good. I think for the most part, obviously you got your Tampa, your Carolina, your Denver, those guys, Dallas, Minnesota, things like that. They're going. They're gonna look good in the postseason. So gonna see the last few spots and how everybody trickles in. I'm excited and I just want the drought to end for Detroit. I need some love in the sports world. It's been tough. It's
Yeah.
been tough.
Well, I mean, Padres still have time to get it together, but yeah.
Yeah, that just tells me more time to raise hopes and come crashing down.
Do you sports bet much on baseball, or what does that look like for you?
Yeah, I definitely do. So, but what I try and do is I try and wait for certain matchups. I've had better luck with certain pitchers on the bump for the Padres, or vice versa. Okay, they're going into LA. We'll say, who are they facing and which hitters are hot, because I put in single game parlays. Usually on Fridays and Saturday nights is when they show out the most.
Yeah, that makes sense. Next on my watching list, by the way, the WNBA has finally got their crap together. So I guess the draft will start on time. That'll go down April 13th, so 2 weeks from tomorrow. The WNBA draft. I was thinking about this too, Mark, watching the women's games a little bit earlier. I'm like, because I'll be honest with you, Caitlin Clark obviously sparked my interest. When I've been watching Iowa women's basketball since her freshman year, because I had knew someone who went to Iowa, and they were like, "Hey, you got to watch this. You got to watch this Clark chick play basketball." So I've been watching her, and then obviously, watching her in Iowa, and then you get to the tournament, like we mentioned, you start to learn all these other girls, all these other teams and stuff like that. And then I was like, man, I wish I was watching kind of pre-Caitlin Clark, because I wish I was watching like Asia Wilson at South Carolina. I kind of wish I was watching more Cameron Brink at Stanford, or the whole sisters at Stanford and stuff like that. But so now I'm really excited to watch the WNBA. I know we'll probably be doing a live draft show on that Monday night, and it was cool. Last week I had Lucy Olson's Iowa jersey hanging up behind me, and then she gets picked by the Washington Mystics in the second round. So that was cool. And yeah, I think three of the UCLA Bruins seniors, Mark, are predicted to go in the top 10. So that'll be
Nice.
interesting. By the
Nice.
way, speaking of the top 10 and the Washington Mystics, they have two picks in the
Oh,
top 10, and I
it's
think
like
two
big
Bruins.
two.
Yeah, I think two Bruins are again mock drafted to go to the Mystics. If Lauren Betts goes to, I mean, I already like the Mystics because of Kiki Ariafins and Sonia Citrone, and Lucy Olson, but I mean, if Lauren Betts goes to the Mystics, I that would probably overtake the, because I've kind of adopted the Indiana Fever as my WNBA team, obviously because of Caitlin Clark and Lexi Hull and Sophie and all them, Aaliyah Boston and company. But if you have Lauren Betts goes to the Mystics, like like I already ordered her jersey. So,
There you go. There you go. I like it.
but yeah, they finally got their CBA together. Um, you know, it kind of throws a wrench into the works, if you will, too, because a lot of these teams might not be able to afford players anymore. Like you may not see Kelsey Mitchell on the Indiana Fever next year. Asia Wilson might not be on the Aces for very much longer unless they give her a max deal. So there's a lot of question marks regarding a lot of these players and the super maxes and the money that these teams will be able to afford, because they obviously they raised the stakes a little bit when it came to money, and that was the whole issue in the first place. So I'm glad they got it done. I'm glad these girls are going to be making more money and stuff like that, but it is going to kind of throw a wrench into things because of that issue. And I haven't read too much into it, Mark. I'll be honest with you. I don't know if it's like the NBA where you can only give out what three super maxes, I think it is, and that kind of hamstrings you a little bit. We kind of saw it locally here with the Nuggets. They had a super max with Jokic and Murray, who obviously you want to give super maxes to,
Of
and then
course.
the third super max went to Porter Jr. and they ended up trading him. But when they traded him, Mark, they were able to sign a whole bunch of guys too. So we'll see what happens. I'm excited for the season to start up here in a month or so, and then I'm excited for the draft.
Yeah, no, and same, and like I've been saying, just watching this league grow with the amount of talent that's coming in. And listen, like I understand, I definitely agree the players should be paid more. But it's tough, the amount of revenue and stuff that they are bringing in that they could be like. That's another sport that I think is failing in its advertising and being how being able to consume it, and I wish they would do better on that so that these players could get paid more. But like you said, I'm glad they got it done, got it figured out, and everything's going to be on schedule.
Yeah, and if you're wondering too, um, the draft order, by the way, first round. So there's three rounds now. By the way, last year there's only two. We got three rounds now because of the expansion. Two new teams coming into the fold in the Toronto Tempo, and the Portland Fire. So we will have two new teams obviously into the league. So it'll be Dallas, Minnesota, Seattle, Washington, like we mentioned. So Washington has the fourth pick and the ninth pick in the first round. Chicago, Toronto, Portland, Golden State, Washington, and then Indiana rounds out the top 10. So that's your top 10. By the way, the expansion draft um, also goes down here April 3rd. By the way, it's funny. Portland and Toronto literally flipped a coin to see who goes first, and Toronto won the coin toss, so they will be going first. So again, we mentioned a wrench being thrown into it for the money and free agents and stuff like that. Now you have an expansion draft with two teams, Mark, who staying like who dubbed their players safe and who said, hey, all right, we got to put this girl up for an expansion draft. So you got to keep an eye on that as well.
Yeah, yeah, and the expansion. I always found those interesting, no matter what league, what the situation is. Expansion drafts are fun. Watching how everything jumbles up. So yeah, I'm excited. That's gonna be cool.
Yes. So we saw that happen with, we brought up Iowa and Kate Martin. She was obviously went to the draft in support of Caitlin Clark, ended up being drafted by the Las Vegas Aces, and then the Golden State Valkyries started their franchise last year, and the Aces were like, "Sorry, Kate, we got to put you up for for expansion draft," and then she gets selected by the Golden State Valkyries. So you could have like a fan favorite who doesn't get many minutes, maybe, or just doesn't fit into your rotation for whatever reason. A fan favorite could be off your team in a couple weeks because of this expansion draft as well. So it'll be interesting to see who has dubbed their players safe and who has dubbed their players technically not safe. So excited to see here in a couple weeks what that brings. So we shall see. Mark, anything else on your watch list?
Just the NBA, the Celtics clinched today. So Tatum went off for 32 points. So yeah, happy about that. And yeah, NBA playoffs, I love it. It's always a good time. It's always fun. So yeah, that's about it on my watching list.
Yeah, I'm getting sick of the Nuggets. Just like, how are you down to Utah first of all, and then they lose to Memphis with literally, I think Memphis was sitting 8 of their guys. Yeah, I don't know if this is necessarily a championship. They're getting healthy at the right time. I'll tell you that much. They got Aaron Gordon back in full swing. They got Christian Brown back in full swing. They have Peyton Watson. He just came back a couple games ago after missing 6 weeks. He's coming off the bench in limited minutes, so he's kind of back in full swing, if you will. And so I don't know. I don't really know where they go on. I don't know how far they're going to go, Mark. I mean, they were literally a couple games ago, literally. Sorry, that's what happens when you open a tab. But I mean, you're literally a couple games losing away from being in the play-in tournament scramble, and then
Right.
you rattle off somehow 6 in a row, and now you're kind of jockeying for one of the top 4 seeds. So we'll see. It's going to be an interesting finish to the year. The Lakers are playing really strong. Obviously, the Spurs. Was the Spurs
Nope.
doing this well on your bingo card?
Nope. I was just gonna bring that up. I don't know who the Spurs think they are, but it must be something in the water over there in Texas. They got it figured out as of late. I know now only 2 back. Wow.
Yeah, and obviously nobody's catching OKC, but I hope they crash and burn first round of the playoffs. I just cannot wish more. I don't know what's the opposite of, how you say you wish success on somebody. I wish the complete opposite of success to the Oklahoma City Thunder. Again, hope they crash and burn. At this point, and I don't know if this is just sacrilegious to say. I'd almost rather see the Lakers go further than the Thunder.
I mean, I don't hate them that much because I hate the Lakers a whole lot more.
I hate both of them. I don't mind the Spurs. Like, I don't,
Yeah,
don't
no,
mind
me
them at
either.
all.
Me either. I grew up watching Tim Duncan too, so I mean, that whole
I
that
mean, I
whole
was I
squad.
was sick of this. I was sick of the Spurs back then because they kept winning, and then they had they obviously hit that down a down last couple 10 years,
Yeah.
and then that's when you're like, oh, I don't mind them anymore.
Kind of like how we feel about the Patriots.
Yeah, they learned their lesson. They took a step back, they rebuilt, and now they're back. And you're like, okay, okay, I see you, Spurs.
So that means we're on schedule to hate them in another 2 years, right?
Yeah, I mean if Wemby just keeps getting better, yeah, it's gonna
It's
be
gonna be
hell
a
to pay.
problem. It's
Yeah,
gonna be a problem.
yeah. So we will. Yeah, the NBA. It's gonna be interesting to see. Just what a handful of games left for a lot of these teams, and I wanted to play this clip for you because I don't know if this is on my watch list or not watching list. Maybe you agree with this was a Syracuse head coach, by the way. Again, I don't know where I stand on this. Some people just found it to be just like, why are you complaining all the like? Why are these coaches always? I don't know if you heard what Gino said yesterday. Maybe we'll play his clip, but he was more sticking up for the players. So this is Syracuse women's head coach Felicia Legit Jack on losing in the NCAA tournament.
I ask God to touch my heart and help me speak kindly about this opportunity, but also have a responsibility. And when I tell my players to woman up, I think I have to do the same thing. And for us to be coming from a 12 and 16, 18, whatever season last year, okay, let's judge me on this season. For us to do what we've done, to continuously have to come to UConn in every single school that I go to, from Buffalo to it's unfair to the young people. I don't know whether there's somebody said, is there something that they might have against me? If that's the case, then we need to communicate about that. But for us to be what we've done in our body of work, to have to come and play that best team in the country. I mean, Gino has this thing going, and he is. I love what he's done, but I thought deserved a little more respect after being in this business for 37 years, and to have to come and be in this particular bracket every freaking year is unacceptable. It's wrong. It's somebody. And if you're on the committee and you've been around for more than a year or two or 5 to 10 or 15 years, you understand what that looks like. I've been.
Not a fan of that.
So yeah, she goes on and on. Again, I don't know if this is on my not watching list, Mark, or just finally complaining or whatever. And obviously, UConn knocked out Syracuse in the second round. Again, maybe not too many people who knew who was Syracuse's coach until these statements. But where do you land on this? Do you just find it complaining? Do you just like, hey, win more games and you wouldn't have to be against UConn every year? And she's saying that it's not just her teams, it's just her. So I don't know. I mean, hey, maybe win more games as a coach. Tell your team to win more. I don't know what you do. Maybe play better against UConn. I don't know. Where do you land on this?
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think she's just complaining. It's a sore loser, in my opinion. I mean, she said it, well, I tell my players to woman up. You need to woman up, apparently. I mean, be better. I've never heard anybody say, well, why do I have to come and play UConn every freaking year? It's like, well, because they got it going on. They've got to figure it out. Gino's got to figure it out. You need to figure it out. Like you just said, win more games. Win more games. Get yourself in a better position. Obviously, I understand the certain teams when you play, damn good during the season, and then you're losing less than 7 games, 6 games, you're losing less than that, and you get drawn a tough opponent. It's like, that's our reward. I can understand that, but I mean, you beat Iowa State. That was your destiny. You knew it was on the schedule before you even step foot on the floor. Prepare better and be better.
Yeah, and again, coming in as a 9 seed, I don't know what you're. I mean, do you want to go play like South Carolina? I mean, you're gonna end up playing somebody good. No matter how far you make it through the bracket, you're gonna play probably a number 1 seed anyway. Like, would you rather be in South Carolina's bracket or UCLA's bracket or Texas's? Like, who do you want to play?
You're poisoned. I mean, that's why they call it madness. And not only that, but here's the thing. Here's what I'd be telling my team, no matter what sport, what gender, what situation, I don't care. It's like, hey, this is the number 1 team in the nation, possibly. I mean, UConn won it last year. Like, hey, if we beat them, who can't we beat? You know what I mean? That would be my message. It's like, this is the one. I want them right away. Let's get them before they get hot.
In the words of everyone in the Little Giants locker room, Mark, one time.
That's it. Well, they might beat us 99 times out of 100, but we'll always have one time.
One time. All right. Yeah, so I wanted your opinion on that, because I was like, where do I land on this? It's been kind of bothering me for over a week now, and I was just like, I'm not watching this. So yeah. Anything else you're not particularly fond of right now?
No, not really. I mean, watching. I didn't get to watch the opening day for the Padres. Obviously, they played the Tigers, and and Scooble was on the bump for them. Always going to be a tough outing, but I'm sick of the little to no movement that the Padres continue to not make. I understand money is an issue, but renegotiate contracts, figure it out. I mean, the Dodgers keep buying everything and we keep continuing to do nothing or trade for the minimum. And I'm sick of watching that kind of downward spiral. And I was saying it the last couple of years, the Padres are missing their window. And I mean, granted, I'm not hitting the panic button. We're only 3 games into the season. Like I said, losing to Scooble is never going to be a, well, the season's over kind of outlook after losing to such a great pitcher. However, you've got to learn to beat those teams, because at the end of the day, the road to the championship is going to go through LA. Figure it out. Be better.
Yeah, Syracuse and Padres.
Let me do it. Give me the controller. I'll figure it out.
Yeah, it's not even worth complaining about the baseball team in Colorado. I do want to give a shout out too, by the way, to the Colorado Summit, who just had this is their inaugural season. The women's soccer team, they had their first home game yesterday, Mark, at Empower Field at Mile High, where the Broncos play. How about shattering the attendance record with over 60,000 fans in attendance? It ended in a 0-0 is the terminology. It ended in a 0-0 tie, but over 60,000 people out there to witness it, and it's almost deflating, because when their new stadium is built, I don't know, next year or whatever, it's going to go down to like 30,000. And then, depending on how they play, you're not going to fill that stadium. But it was cool. It almost seems like every team who's kind of inaugural, like we were just talking about the Toronto Tempo and the Portland Fire in the WNBA, like they're probably going to sell out. Obviously jockeying for Denver to get a WNBA team. But yeah, shout out to them for absolutely shattering the attendance record. So that was pretty cool.
Love to hear that. I always love to see soccer grow in this country, and big soccer fan here. So love to hear those kinds of things.
Yeah. And by the way, speaking of attendance and staying in the WNBA, I guess, how about the Indiana Fever, Mark? Of their 42 games, 39 of them will be played in NBA arenas, because guess who's coming to town? Caitlin Clark.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I like to hear.
Yeah, I still
gotta give them more space, so these fans are starting to show up.
Yeah, I still want to. I don't know. I want to take like a track down to Vegas this year and see Indiana and Vegas play. I think that would be a cool environment to watch my first WNBA game.
That would be fun.
Yeah, July 4th weekend they're playing. Looking at it. Hopefully the airports will be settled down by then, I guess, too. So yeah, anything else on your any list? There was something, and I of course forgot to write it down, so now I can't remember.
I'm actually surprised. Usually I have more to complain about, but this week's been a solid week for me in the sports world of the complaint department.
So there you go. Yeah. All right. Well, let's move on to the entertainment portion of the pod, in which we will spin the wheel review, and then we'll break down. Obviously, Mark, you drew a couple weeks ago. You drew the Walking Dead month. By the way, we both got the secret wheel landing. So you landed on the Walking Dead, and then we had a couple of days to sit on that and think about it and ponder about it. And I was like, let's just do a Walking Dead rewatch podcast, which I want to do with Lost, but we'll stay away from that one. But so I had Lost month, which I totally forgot about, but good thing I literally rewatched it a couple weeks ago. So yeah, mine landed on Walking Dead. If you want Mark's description of the pilot of Walking Dead, we will be releasing the Stalking Dead rewatch podcast of The Walking Dead every Monday right here on Recliner Media. So it'll drop tomorrow, so you can go over and get really both of our thoughts on the pilot episode of The Walking Dead. So I have Lost month. So Mark will be respinning, so he has nothing to recap today. But I am recapping the pilot episode of Lost. Spoiler alert: we did kind of give a shout out to Walking Dead's pilot, calling it a near perfect or perfect pilot. Mark, to be honest with you, I think Lost was an absolutely fantastic pilot as well. I mean, it just drew you in, hooked you in. I don't know how many like maybe besides like Gilligan's Island, I don't know how many like plane crashing on an island shows there were at the time or before or whatever. Whoever succeeded or preceded Lost, I'm not sure on the number on that. Don't really care. But I mean, this was just one of those special shows that, I mean, in my Facebook memories, Mark, I'm like looking at my stupid post from like what 10, 15 years ago that said getting lost in 5 minutes. Like, like those are my stupid posts on Facebook. Now I hardly post anything. But anyway, yeah, I mean, this was like almost a near perfect pilot for me. Obviously, a plane crashes on a deserted island, what we think is deserted. We see Matthew Fox, who plays Jack Shepherd. I mean, there's this ensemble was again, we gave shout out to casting The Walking Dead, Mark. The casting of Lost was absolutely superb as well. And again, shout out to whoever casted this ensemble, but it's absolutely perfect. Obviously, Matthew Fox plays Jack Shepherd, a doctor. You see his eyes open first, and then he makes his way down to the beach and just starts being a hero, man. Just saving people from this, tying something around this guy's leg, helping this person, just running everywhere on the beach, trying to help people. And then we start to introduce the characters. Obviously, Evangeline Lilly, who plays Kate Austin. You know her from the Ant-Man movies and the Marvel universe. So you start to introduce her. We see Josh Holloway, who plays Sawyer. Again, just fantastic casting for Lost. So I mean, this first episode just kind of takes place all on the beach. We don't venture into the jungle too much until when the sun goes down and what I mean, we were when we were talking about The Walking Dead, Mark, we were like, what would you do? What would you do in this situation? What would you do? I mean, again, the questions come up like, what would you do if your plane crashed on a deserted island? Like, would you be the Jack type and just say, hey, I'm gonna help as many people as I can, or are you gonna be, just maybe like I don't want to say the John Locke character who just kind of sat off to the side and kind of observed everything and automatically kind of knew this island was special, was John Locke, and we'll get into that as the series goes on, because I'm going to be talking about this series for a month. But again, I don't know if I can afford to just do one episode, but all I have is the pilot prepared, so maybe I'll have the rest of season 1 prepared next week. I don't know. It's a shit ton of content.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this was just a near perfect pilot. We start to get used to all the characters. It is funny how you do kind of track and again, rewatch this not too long ago, and you kind of track the background actors who maybe don't have any lines, Mark, or don't have anything to say or do, and then all of a sudden they give like the B storyline to some side characters, and you're like, wait a minute, they weren't in the background like 2 episodes ago, and now they have a whole storyline to themselves, which is kind of funny. And then when they do flashbacks and stuff like that, they throw them in there, so it kind of ties together. But you're like, dude, where the hell did this dude come from? Like, he was never in the background of any scenes before this, and now he's got his own storyline. But so yeah, I mean, they obviously kill off a bunch of side characters because you're not paying that many people to talk, I guess. But yeah, just a great pilot, I think. The sun starts to go down. They start a fire, so somebody sees it from the sky or whatever. They think they're getting rescued and stuff like that. Where's the black box and all this? Did this plane even have one? Like, nobody really even brought that up, which is kind of crazy. The plane split in half in the air, so you don't know where they were on the tail section. You don't know where the where the other half of the plane is, and obviously we'll get into that as the episode goes on. But yeah, overall a fantastic pilot. And then as I was saying, the sun goes down and stuff like that, and then you hear like this creature monster in the jungle, and that's kind of the first I guess head scratching thing. You're like, what the hell is that thing in the jungle? And then that kind of gets your wheels spinning a little bit, like, okay, what is this place? What did they really land on? What kind of island is this? Are they the only people on this island? And obviously a lot of us know the answer to that, and so that kind of gets the wheels going. But for now, for these first couple episodes at least, obviously for the pilot, they're just focused on surviving and waiting for someone to come rescue them. So again, totally recommend. At least I know some people kind of tuned out after a couple seasons just because it went a little crazy in their opinion, but the first season is definitely awesome in this. Again, a pretty fantastic pilot in my opinion.
I like it. Yeah, honestly, I've only watched literally I think like 1 or 2 episodes. It was like in the middle of its series, and I like the title was completely lost. So I'm gonna have to I have to one day pick that up and start it from scratch, because I had so many questions and no answers, and it bothered me.
Yeah, and again, I said I rewatched it a couple weeks ago. It actually, like, for the first time in a long time, Mark, it actually made sense. Like, a lot of it. Yeah, there was some crazy this doesn't make sense. You're gonna have that. You're not gonna have the, I guess, complete, whatever you call it, the complete connection from episode to episode, or whatever you want to call it, the consistency, whatever lack of a better term is. But yeah, it's a really good pilot, and I know back when it was on every week, Mark, I was locked in every week. So, and I could tell that by my stupid Facebook post back in those days.
Nice. I'm gonna have to, like I said, I'm gonna have to tune in, find out, and see what's up.
Yeah. So there we go. All right. So Mark is respinning because, like we mentioned, he got Walking Dead month last time we convened here, and we just decided to do a whole rewatch podcast on The Walking Dead. So again, you will get that content every Monday on the Stalking Dead, as we will bring that to you. So stay tuned for that. All right, so Mark is just going to respin. So this will be short and sweet since I have to talk about the craziness that is Lost. So Mark, let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready to rock and roll.
Will he get the secret wheel again?
TV shows. I'm getting kind of lucky. I thought I was gonna go back on my movie stint.
Not today, sir.
You know what though? You know what's funny is I kind of miss a movie where it's like, okay, one movie in one sitting.
Yeah, I know. All right, let's see what genre.
All right, I haven't had a comedy yet, I don't think.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember a lot of things from much of anything. So we'll see.
For breakfast, so.
Yeah, exactly. All right, comedy wheel. Here we go. Workaholics, classic.
Nice.
Classic.
Love it. How many episodes?
Classic. I love that show.
Same.
It's so funny. Let's see. What am I looking for? How many? This is great radio. Here we go. All right, let's see.
Oh. Uh-oh.
Co-host choice.
Be kind. Remember, we're watching The Walking Dead too.
I don't know how many are in. I don't know if this is like The Walking Dead or anything. I don't know how many episodes were in the first season, to be to be honest. I don't know how many episodes are in a season, to be honest with you, because I think I want to say they were regular sitcom length, Mark. So I want to say they were only like 22 minutes long. But again, is it like a lot of those shows where they only did a certain amount in the first season?
That is a good question.
So the first, let's see, they had 7 seasons. So they had 10 episodes every season.
Well, that ain't terrible.
Okay. You can just watch the pilot then.
All right, I can do that.
Yeah, I was gonna say the whole first season, but that's 10 episodes. But hey, it's workaholics. You watch one episode, you're probably watching the rest of the series.
Say next week I might come in hot with more than one episode to talk about. So
yeah, it's a hilarious show. So yeah, shout out to those guys because they also have an awesome podcast called This Is Important, and they are hilarious. So shout out to them. But yeah, funny show, Workaholics. I still have like 900 episodes of Lost to talk about. And again, stay tuned Mondays for The Stalking Dead, as we'll be doing our rewatch podcast, dropping every Monday. That podcast, however, we will be doing one episode at a time. So that's going to take about 16 years. And yeah, hope you cleared your calendars for that one. But we are going to get out of here. Once again, go to all of our socials, Facebook, X, Instagram, subscribe, and to our YouTube channel as well. Go to our TikTok channel as well. And go to our home base, obviously, reclinermedia.com. All of the good and fun stuff is on there as well. You can catch all the on-demand stuff on our website or on Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify as well. Mark, any final thoughts before we get on out of here?
You guys enjoy the work week, and I will enjoy my days off until Thursday.
You lucky son. But that is going to do it for us here on the Mark When on the Mic. For Mark Saxton, I am Michael Spill. We will talk to you next week.